The New York Knicks are making moves as they have made a signing to the team in a shocking update that nobody saw coming, as now they add a young player to the squad who they really liked, and this has a bunch of implications on what they're going to do with the final roster spot or final two roster spots, depending on their moves upcoming, and we're going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. If you're part of that 69%, it would really help the channel out if you subscribe. We're trying to get to 14K before the playoffs. It's a rough push, but we're going for it, guys. But let's jump into the video because we have a lot to discuss. The New York Knicks made a signing in Johnny Davis just yesterday. This is a huge move for a team that loved Johnny Davis going into the NBA draft. Just a few years ago, Leon Rose was known to be a big fan of Davis's game, along with Tom Thibodeau, for the fact that Davis is a very, very talented defender and was viewed as one of the most NBA-ready players in the NBA draft just in 2022. Since then, though, Johnny Davis has struggled mightily with the Washington Wizards to have any sort of success, and then eventually got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies for Marcus Smart. Also in that trade was Marvin Bagley, both of whom got waived by Memphis, and Memphis picked up Lamar Stevens, the guy who was on the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers finals team. He was there. I was going to say I believe, but he was there. They picked up him. They picked up Lamar Stevens and waived Johnny Davis, which is not really a great look for Davis, but the New York Knicks have had faith in him, and now they've brought him onto the team where he will play for the Westchester Knicks. Now, Davis this season has averaged 2.4 points per game with 1 rebound, shooting 41% from the field and 24% from 3. His free throw percentage is at 60% as well, which is not a good sign for his career as a shooter. He just turned 23 years old. He has negative .3 win shares for his career. His career PER is a 7.3, so he was a little better this season, but seeing those numbers and seeing that he's actually been more efficient definitely is worrisome a lot. I mean, Davis, he just hasn't yet been able to figure it out at the NBA level after being a very successful college player. So it is interesting to see the Knicks pick up a guy who they really liked as a defender and who seemed NBA ready. They will put him on the Westchester Knicks, and they want him to be a big part of the team, and they've already shown that. He's played a game for the Westchester Knicks already, and he played some of the most minutes of anyone. The Knicks want to try and see if they could find the untapped potential in Johnny Davis, a guy who averages 3.5 points for his career. Look, he's a solid defender, and maybe if he's on a good organization, I will say the Memphis Grizzlies are a good organization as well, but who I meant to say was the Washington Wizards, who absolutely are a better organization than they used to be. Things are picking up there. They're doing things the right way for the most part, but the Knicks are obviously much better than the Wizards when it comes to just being efficient and good at your jobs if you're in the front office. So maybe the Knicks do trust they can actually find something out of a 6'5" good defender. It does beg the question, what's the point of having Davis or DeLon right? So maybe you buy DeLon right out if you want to add Johnny Davis to the team. Maybe you add Johnny Davis to the team as a bench depth guy over the offseason. That's what I imagine the Knicks might plan on doing. But on top of that, he did play his first Westchester Knicks game. And look, he looked good, but still, you look at a guy like Moses Brown, and there's no way that Johnny Davis would ever get the spot over Moses Brown. Now, Davis, he had a few good moments. He had a nice chase down block, and then on a separate possession, took it the other end, went coast to coast, looked very confident, dunked it down. So he's had moments for sure, but it just comes down to this point of, is Johnny Davis ever going to be able to get it going at the NBA level? And all that is basically just going to come upon how he is at the G League, where things, I mean, he had those moments, but it's important to note that he also struggled with efficiency. Still, the Knicks lost by 17 points, and Kevin McCullough Jr., the Knicks rookie this year, is on a two-way contract, was a plus 25. Meanwhile, Johnny Davis, a player who has a similar style to McCullough, was a minus 33. So it's very evident that there's an issue going on there, and, well, it just feels like Johnny Davis is probably running out of time to right this ship, and doing this, having a minus 33 and a 17-point loss is definitely not the way to do it. Now, Davis, for his career, has mainly played in the G League last season, played one game for the Capital City Go-Go. Yes, it's the worst name a basketball team could ever have, who are obviously I almost said the Westchester Knicks G League team, the Washington Wizards G League affiliate. And, well, for his career, I mean, this season he had a 16-point game. Then with the Knicks, he had a 9, 10-point game. But for his career, averages around 12 points per game in the G League while shooting 30% from 3 and 40% from the field, or 36% from 3, I should say, but 40% from the field as well. The numbers are not great. They're certainly underwhelming, and you just take a look at where Johnny Davis' career is going, and you do wonder if he's ever going to have a serious role with the team. It feels like most likely not at this point, but they want him to. I mean, if you look at the Knicks, their starters were Boo Bui, Kevin McCullough Jr., Abdullah Ahmed, Chuma Okeke, and TJ Warren. Now, Okeke and Warren are the favorites to get that final roster spot, but the Knicks might want to create 2 roster spots, which they would be able to do if they buy DeLon right out, which is important to note. So they could potentially do that and then add Moses Brown and one of Warren and Okeke. I do think it's going to be Warren, but it really could go either way still. I just imagine Warren's the slight favorite because he's been better than Okeke in the G League, and that should count for something. But you also look at other guys on this bench. I mean, Alex O'Connell's been playing for the Knicks G League team all year long. Boo Bui's been around with the Knicks G League team, and obviously he was a starter, but still you see Johnny Davis, who's playing comparable minutes to all these guys, and you do start to notice that the Knicks clearly want to try to see if they can make something out of Johnny Davis. Picking him up is a long shot, but it's also them saying we saw potential in this guy not that long ago. Davis had historically been one of the worst players in basketball. However, the Knicks did believe in him 2.5 years ago, so they want to believe that maybe if they give him enough minutes in the G League and potentially start him again, we're going to see one of Warren and Okeke off the G League team very soon. There's going to be a new starter that comes in. Davis is a wing. Warren and Okeke play wing roles, wing forward roles. So Davis definitely is someone who very likely could end up starting with the Westchester Knicks very soon, especially because he was the 10th overall pick in 2022 to begin with. So it's not like it was that long ago that he was a lottery pick. So the fact that he flamed out this fast is insane. But on top of that, what's even crazier is, like, he's just in the G League now, and he got waived. Like, the Knicks are going to take a chance on this, and they don't see a reason not to, and they're right to. I'll be honest, I have no problem with the Knicks doing this. I think it makes a ton of sense if you ask me. At least take a chance on him. If you liked him 3 years, not even 3 years ago, if you liked him 2.5 years ago, maybe see if you could find that potential. I mean, the defense was there. He had a few steals, and he had 8 stocks in total last game. He's had his moments. He's shown things that have proven that maybe he does fit somewhere at the NBA level, and the Knicks don't want to let that go unused. I mean, mind you, the Knicks don't have a ton of draft capital left over, so they have to try to pull stuff like this off, and there's no risk to it. They're not going to sign Johnny Davis as someone who's going to be on the final roster this year, but if they need to fill out their roster and they need to add a cheap player or two, Davis will be at the top of that list of guys they'll want to add so they could stay away from the second apron if they are in that salary cap situation, which they likely will be in with all the contracts and the extensions that they have to do, and the likelihood that Mikal Bridges could see a contract extension incoming as well. So we're going to see a lot with Johnny Davis potentially being able to get a 14th, 15th man role on this team. The Knicks do want to add some younger talent. Obviously, I made that video yesterday about Kevin. Well, I didn't make it yesterday, but you could probably tell that by my hair. But with Kevin McCullough Jr. and Tyler Kolek potentially having bigger roles with the Knicks next season, Ariel Hukporti will likely have a bigger role with the Knicks next season as well. Johnny Davis, probably not, but he could get his way on the roster so the Knicks can have a bit more young talent. They do want to add more young guys. Remember, the team's not even old to begin with. There's one 30-year-old on the team, so they're not old, but they're also all in their primes right now. They're also all in the later 20s, so they do still want to add a few younger players when they only have so many draft picks to work with. But guys, let me know what you think. Are you excited about the Johnny Davis signing? Does it move you at all? I will say, I like his defense. I think there's a world that the Knicks actually can figure him out. He's a really good athlete. He's shown good defense. That's something a good team can work with, and I believe the Knicks are going to be very, very good at continuing to develop players like we've seen with guys like Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes, and already Ariel Hukporti. It didn't really work out with Jericho Sims, but there's been a good amount of guys who they've developed who have been kind of later picks or guys who have kind of fallen off the map a little bit. So will be interesting to see. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.